for joining us on Money, Money, Money. Budget 2016 has been all about the EPF controversy. A lot has been said, done. The rollback has already happened. So we decided that we are going to devote this particular edition of Money, Money, Money on all things that were there in Budget 2016 beyond EPF and beyond the pension scheme. A lot of other interesting proposals also came to light. For example, changes in taxation that governed the gold bond scheme and the gold monetization scheme. Certain added incentives or benefits if you're looking to buy a house and if you're a first-time home buyer. So we'll be covering all that and more over the next half hour. My guest on the show today is personal finance expert, Mr. Harsh Rungta. Mr. Rungta, thank you so much for taking all the time and joining us today. So I'm not going to ask you about EPF. You can heave a sigh of relief. We've been doing a lot of that already. But going beyond, of course, all the headlines that came in, what did you make of Budget 2016 from a personal finance standpoint?
Clearly, there are a lot of things that are being put in place, and I think this is just one more effort towards that. And I think everything that was promised and a little bit more on the gold monetization schemes and the gold bond schemes have actually come in. And of course, one of the big sighs of relief was that all the changes that we were said in the offing on long-term capital gains becoming taxable, again equities, all those things didn't happen. So I think there was this huge sigh of relief that, one more year.
Absolutely. So whatever you're investing in equities beyond 1 year, it continues to be absolutely tax-free. But let me start off by talking about housing, because there were several paragraphs in the speech as well which refer to housing. There is, of course, the additional deduction that individuals will now enjoy, but they have to be first-time home buyers, and I think there are lots of caveats and lots of caps. So how does this budget rate when you're talking about, giving a boost to housing, letting people buy more homes?
So I think there are a lot of things that have been done on the indirect tax side or for the developers in terms of the profit from a quote-unquote affordable housing sector. So the profits will be not be taxable, etc.
These are, I'm just looking at the paragraph. You're referring to, I think, the 142nd paragraph, which says 100% deduction for profits to an undertaking from a housing project. But these are flats up to 30 square meters.
30 square meters in metros. Yeah. So just to put it, because we don't think in square meters, it's roughly 330 square feet, which in Bombay lingo is 500 square feet. The developer sells that flat as 500 square feet.
So it's carpet plus plus.
Because carpet plus plus. And this obviously refers to carpet. I'm assuming that. And non-metros, more interestingly, non-metros, that goes up to 60 square meters, which is 650 square feet, and in Bombay lingo that's 1,000 square feet, which is a fair-sized 2 BHK. It's clearly a 2 BHK flat. So I think on the peripheries, if those are not considered as metros and that definition needs to be seen, I think that gets a big boost.
No, that is on the developer side. So it's for the company level.
So just one more thing, there's a service tax exemption as well.
Right.
So on under construction flats, there is a service tax. And again, for 30 square, 500 square feet Bombay flats and 1,000 square feet non-metro flats, as they say. There is no service tax for under construction flat. That has been waived. Now,
so that's absolute waiver on service tax.
Yes. So that's a huge relief, and I think it will apply to a fair number of flats. Now let's move to what affects the buyers directly. One is this additional deduction of 50,000 rupees. This is over and above the rupees 2 lakh limit. Now the point with this is the way this is worded.
This is on the interest. This is the additional deduction
on the interest.
There's no change as far as tax benefits on repayment of principal are concerned.
Absolutely. No change. Even this is hedged in with a lot of conditions. The person has to be a first-time home buyer. Obviously, it applies to self-occupied property because the limit applies to self-occupied property. First-time home buyer, the value of the flat should not exceed 50 lakhs. The loan value should not exceed 35 lakhs. The loan should be sanctioned during financial year 16-17. Right? It can be disbursed later, but it needs to be sanctioned in 16-17. In which case, this is an additional deduction of 50,000 over and above the existing deduction of 2 lakhs.
It will only apply to those people who are taking this housing loan in the new financial year, which is going to start off.
It's sanctioned in the new housing, in the new financial year. It can be disbursed in later years as well.
Sure.
Because the deduction is an additional deduction year after year after year, not just for 1 year.
But the riders that come with this change, I mean, the riders that you mentioned, that it will only apply to loans which are 35 lakhs or less.
Right.
And then, of course, the rider of the area of the house itself.
No, there is no rider on the area of the house, the value of the house.
The value of the house,
Right.
yes. Do you think this will really kind of spur demand much in perhaps tier 2 or tier 1 cities at all?
Tier 2, it will definitely have an impact to some extent. Please remember, because of these limits that they have placed, if you are taking a joint loan, right, even for this value of the house, if the loan is joint, and now quite a few of the loans are joint for working couples, then this deduction has no meaning because they don't bust that limit in any case. If 2 people are taking a 35 lakh loan, then each of them is 17.5 lakhs.
Right.
Interest rates are less than 10%,
Right.
which means the interest that they are paying is less than 2 lakhs in any case.
So it doesn't really help you if you're taking a joint loan.
It doesn't benefit a joint borrowers.
Okay.
It benefits single borrowers within this limit. One probably unintended benefit is for under construction property. Today's deduction on interest and principal is available only when in the year in which the construction is complete. This additional deduction on the other hand lays down no such condition, which means by implication, even if you buy an under construction property, even during the construction phase, you will get a deduction of 50,000.
But 50,000, not 2,50,000, but only 50,000, which is what Finance Bill 2016-17 talks about.
So for under construction properties, it is a relief. It is a decent relief. There's just one more thing that they have done. Very few people are aware that in self-occupied houses, if the construction takes more than 3 years, 3.5 years or something, if it takes longer than that, then the maximum deduction limit is not 2 lakhs, it's 30,000.
And I think that was one of the key demands for this year's budget as well, hoping that there could be some more flexibility.
Please remove this.
Yeah, because there's so many time and cost overruns, especially in the current economic environment.
No developer delivers in 3 years.
Yeah.
So they have increased it to 5 years.
Well, so that is some kind of at least a technical relief that's come in. Now, that's all about housing. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, all about the government's sovereign gold bond scheme and the gold monetization scheme. Several taxation changes announced in Budget 2016-17. Will they make these schemes more attractive? We'll find out.